The Way of the Samurai, the slit-mouthed woman of Japan, an urban legend. Life is like a long road. You will encounter a great many obstacles, but if you keep walking, you will eventually find your way. Anonymous. In the Edo period, Japan was undergoing a profound transformation from feudal traditions to a more modern society, causing great stress among the samurai. Within the Uesugi clan, there was a young noble samurai named Tomasi. His unmatched skills had earned him a reputation in many conflicts. One day, after a long stay in the north, Tomasi returned home. His master, the legendary Uesugi Kenshin, known as the Dragon of Echigo, decided to rest his clan near a small village deep in the countryside. Tomasi took a drink from a nearby well and sat down to rest. As he looked up, he noticed a stunning young woman walking down the path, her arms laden with 2 baskets full of fresh berries. Captivated, Tomasi rushed to her side. "Let me help you with that," he said, taking the baskets from her. As she lowered her veil, her radiant smile left him momentarily speechless. "Do you think I am pretty?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with mischief. The two walked back to her home, sharing small talk. Her parents welcomed them warmly upon their arrival. That night, Tomasi couldn't sleep, his thoughts consumed by visions of her. The next morning, before his master was ready to leave, Tomasi hurried to her house, clutching a flower he had found along the path. He knocked eagerly, and her father opened the door. Falling to his knees, Tomasi begged for her father's blessing to marry her. The traditional man was delighted by the proposal and called for his wife. Just then, Anna emerged with a bright smile. Tomasi stood and reached out for his future bride, and the samurai cheered as they embraced. That fall, Tomasi and Anna married, and their union sparked envy among many. Tomasi continued to gain prestige, becoming one of the most powerful samurai in the land. However, his success led him to be deployed on a conflict on the eastern side of Japan for 2 long years. During his absence, jealousy began to fester in his heart. He imagined villagers courting Onna while he was away. When Tomasi finally returned home, he found Uesugi Kenshin leaving his house. "Why are you here?" Tomasi demanded. "I came to bring Onna some berries," Uesugi replied. Tomasi pushed past his master and stormed into his home. "Why was Uesugi in my house?" he shouted. Anna, sensing the shift in Tomasi's demeanor, replied, "He was just bringing us some berries." Tomasi glared at the baskets and knocked them off the table. "You should never have another man in my house." "But he is your master," Anna protested, panic rising in her voice. I didn't think—" In a fit of rage, Tomasi lunged at her and punched her in the face. Anna fell to the ground, gasping for breath as Tomasi's anger consumed him. "If you've cheated on me, I'll ensure that no one will ever want you again," he spat, drawing his sword. As she struggled to speak, he shoved the blade into her mouth, slicing both sides. In a brutal motion, he carved from ear to ear before tossing his sword aside. "Now, no one shall want you," he yelled, storming out. In the aftermath, Anna rose, confused and in pain. She felt the cold night air against her wounds and, trembling, reached for the sword Tomasi had left behind. In a moment of despair, she used it to cut into her own stomach, spilling her insides onto the floor. Tomasi returned, grief-stricken and filled with regret. He found Anna lying in a pool of her own blood. She was buried the next morning, and Tomasi was never the same. His judgment and skills declined sharply, and his master confronted him multiple times, but the once noble samurai was now a shell of his former self. As he turned to drink away his sorrows with a group of known thieves, Tomasi stumbled home one night, lost in a haze. On the path, he saw a beautiful woman approaching, her face veiled as his wife's had been. "Do you think I am pretty?" she asked, her voice eerily familiar. As she raised her veil, Tomasi gasped in horror. It was Ona, her mouth grotesquely slashed from ear to ear, just as he had left her. Stumbling backward, he fell into a well at the end of the village. Days later, he was found dead at the bottom, the cause of his demise shrouded in mystery. Some whispered it was a drunken stumble. Others believed he was haunted by guilt. To this day, Kuchisake Ona appears to people walking alone at night. At first glance, she seems to be an attractive young woman covering the lower part of her face with a mask or a veil. She approaches her victims and asks a simple question: "Watashi, kirei?" or "Am I beautiful?" If the victim answers yes, she reveals her grotesque, bleeding mouth and asks again, "Am I beautiful?" Should they say no or scream, she attacks, slashing their mouths to match her own. If they say yes, she may leave them alone or follow them home and murder them. Share, subscribe, and like.